signed in. If you have not been to my Rotary before, you need to set up an account, and so you will click on the register for an account, and you'll get a registration screen. You give your first and last name, and then an email address, and that email address will become your login name or username on the Rotary website. And then everybody has to confirm that they're at least 18 years old. Most of us won't have any trouble doing that. And then you'll continue and have to do some setting up a password, and then you're there. So I'm going to back to that landing, and I'm going to sign in. I'm using LastPass as a login name and password loader. So it automatically filled in. You might have to fill yours in yourself. I noticed earlier that the sign-ins and the moving around the Rotary website were a little bit slow today, so we may be slowed down just a little bit, but that should give each of you time to see what the screen looks like and follow along step by step. So once you've logged in, you're going to get a screen that's similar to this. Now, my Rotary is primarily an informational resource. You can get membership reports, foundation giving reports. You can download the current forms that you might need for the foundation or membership or any other type of form. But it's also an avenue into data input areas. Your member and your officer input, and a little bit later, Shirley will talk about Rotary Club Central. Now, I want to make a point here on the member and officer input. All of the clubs in District 5830 have integrated their club runner or their membership databases with Rotary International. That integration only goes up to RI. It does not flow backwards. So it is important for you, each of your club secretaries or whoever is handling your member data records to enter that information on the club runner website, whether it's the district club runner that most clubs are utilizing or the club version. They both integrate with the district website, and then they automatically send any additions, changes, or terminations up to the Rotary International database. Only in some really unusual situations should you be going into the Rotary International database and making any changes. And they don't happen too often. If you have that situation, please get with Shirley. She's an expert at cleaning up discrepancies between Club Runner and Rotary International databases. So we're here at the screen. I want to point out some things on your My Rotary landing that most people will overlook. If you look, can you see my cursor circling just above the head of Mark Maloney? If you'll notice, there's a gray minus sign right there. If I press or click on that, Mark goes away. That little box get small. And you can do that just about anywhere so that you can clean up or make space for your more important things if that's what you want, but you can open them back up. Second thing I want to point out is that at the very top, there is a banner. It doesn't define real well, but there are things as you drag your cursor over these tabs, they drop down to some additional information. I think you'll find that your club presidents and club secretaries will find the manage area and probably the member center pretty important to check into every now and then. I think your foundation chair will probably use the member center and the Rotary Foundation tab. Just if you need some training background, check into learnings and reference. But we're going to work a little bit tonight. Well, let me back up one other thing. You notice this column over here, My Quick Links. Now, probably most of you do not see very much there, if anything. And I'll be explaining what that's all about a little bit later. But I want you to note that it shows up on your My Rotary homepage. So let's go over to Manage. And we're going to take the first trip over to Club Administration and click on Club Administration. We're going to look at two things here. We're going to look both at Club Administration and also reports. But under Club Administration, you see right at the top, if you want to go look at your club invoice, it's available right there. There are a number of other items down as we scroll down, but I want you to note the star next to the club invoice. If you click on that star, it will load club invoices onto your My Quick Links, which you'll see on the right-hand side of the page. I've clicked on My Club Invoices, and these are the three things that are available to me from Club Invoice. Now, why I think this is important for each of you all to be aware of is that you noticed I had to make 2 or 3, and sometimes you have to make 4 or 5 clicks down through a menu to get to something that you want to, maybe a report or the club invoice or a member record. Well, remember that My Quick Links was on my landing page, and I can just click on any of these now and go to that area without even having to go through a number of hoops. I can see that it's working away at the moment. And there's the member club and membership list that normally you'd take about 3 clicks to get to. So I'm going to back up to Club Administration. And we're going to go back to Manage and down to Reports. And again, you notice that this star is already purple. It's because I've tagged that. Now, this donor history report, that is your personal donor history report. So you can pull that up and it will tell you a number of items. It will tell you what level you are as far as Paul Harris Fellow or Major Donor, Bequest Society. It will tell you your cumulative cash contributions to the Rotary Foundation. It'll indicate your current balance of Rotary Foundation recognition points. It will also give you a complete history of all of the contributions that you have made to the Rotary Foundation. And there will also be a pie chart that shows your various allocations. And when you click on that, you get this report here and you click on it. I'm going to keep my personal report confidential, but now you know how to get that information for yourself. So you see all of the reports there, and there's a slew of them. Membership, club giving, so on and so forth. We're going to go down to and look at contributions and recognition. And we're going to click on View Reports. And you'll get a list of a number of different reports here. Your foundation, club foundation chair will find many of these useful. You will find it useful as club president, maybe even as treasurer or secretary. Let's look at, for example, the monthly contribution report. Now, some reports will load automatically, but others will require you to enter some parameters. For example, the monthly contribution report, you're going to need to fill out the enter Rotary year and the enter the month. Well, we're in the 2019-2020 year, so you double click on it and you fill in that. Need to tell which month that you want. We're going to go for March. I'm pretty sure March is already closed. And then you're going to click OK. And there is the monthly contribution report for the year to date through March. And you can see each club's level of giving to the end of March. You can see how many members each club has as of July 1st of the year. You can see the contributions broken down by annual fund. Other funds are predominantly Polio Plus funds, but they can include some grant contribution funds, and then the endowment funds. And we can come down here. If you want to go to the next page, go to your lower right-hand corner, and there's 4 little arrows. Just down, we can go to the 3rd page, and you can see a total giving through March for the district is $163,990.93. Won't somebody give us 7 cents and get us over 164,000? Sure. Then, if you want a hard copy of this report, there's a little printer icon up above the Rotary master signature. If you'll click on it, what happens is a file gets downloaded in PDF format, and then you can go to your download folder and open that up and print it out if you want it. So I'm going to leave this report, and I'm also going to go back to the home page eventually. And I'm going to turn the program over to Shirley, as she is going to be working on the Rotary Club Central. Shirley, take it away. I'm stopping my share. Shirley, do you have your microphone on?
Yes, now I do. Sorry about that.
All right, thank you.
All right, so if you'll do me a favor, and there are still people entering the meeting, and at some point, if you want to close the meeting, but if you will watch that, I'd appreciate that. So does everyone see the My Rotary screen? John, do you see the My Rotary screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so y'all familiar, this is basically where we started here on the presentation, and then Mr. Jetter looked mainly at the manage button, so he went over to the club reports. He went over to the club reports down here. And there's also a way that you can go into Rotary Club Central there from the manage tab. But my preferred way is to go over to the member center. So I'm going to move my cursor back up to the dark blue, and then I'm going to bring it over, and I'm going to not click, but I'm going to highlight or just point to the member center. When that happens, it gives more information because you would have to be signed on, which I am signed on. And so that is for Rotarians that have a My Rotary account. So I'm going to move my cursor slowly over to the second column to the left and under my tools. So that is actually, when I click on Rotary Club Central, that is the way I go in. But there's a couple other ways. But that, to me, that is the best way to go in for what I need. Also, below that, you see the brand center. So if you want logos, the correct coloring and size, etc., brand center has lots of wealth of information there. Rotary Showcase is basically, if you want some project ideas, that is all Rotary clubs share their projects out on that site. Rotary Ideas, Learning Center, and Discussion Groups. So that is a really good, online tools is a good category to look at. So I'm going to click on Rotary Club Central, and it's pulling up. And what my section is going to really focus on, what exactly is Rotary Club Central, how to navigate in Rotary Club Central, and what are the citation goals for 2020, 2021, and kind of understanding the difference between this year and last year. So, so that's what I'm going to look at. And once it pulls up, you're going to see a screen. It's called a dashboard screen. And the dashboard, it basically gives you a 5-year comparison in a graph forms. For instance, if you want to, and I'm looking at our club, I'm a Wednesday morning club. We're a small active club, but it's Texarkana Sunrise. And you can see from 2015 on to current year that we have increased our membership. Now, the numbers that you're looking at is beginning July the 1st, 2019. Now, if you look over into the gender, if you want to know how many males and females, that you can see there's 10 females and 12 males. Well, that's 22. So our current number of membership is 22 there. But it does show the graph there. You can also look at age trends, and you can also look in any date of birth that's not reported. So if in this year, one of the citation points were about members that are under 40. So if Rotary International did not have that date of birth, then that would not give you a point there. So that is a good report to look at. Also, you can look at funding, volunteer hours, annual fund trends, what you give to the annual fund. So that is a 5-year look in graph form. You can compare your club to global, my zone, my district, all clubs. So I'm not going to click on those, but those are the tabs at the top if I'm not moving my cursor too fast so you can see that. Now, from here, the way you find information within Rotary Club Central is you go to I call the control panel. The control panel is on the left side, and it's the dark navy, almost black looking. And I've got my finger or my pointer on dashboard. Right below that is Goal Center. So I'm going to click. I'm going to click one time on Goal Center, and it's going to pull up the goals. Now it's going to automatically go to the current year. So this is our current year that will end June the 30th, but I want to look and talk about next year's goals. So I'm going to use that forward arrow, and our club has not entered any goals yet. Our president-elect's working on that, but we're going to use some examples here. And if you notice on the Goal Center, you've got different categories. You can set goals in membership and engagement, foundation giving, service, young leaders, public image, and all. So I'm going to click all, and I'm going to hit edit. The blue button that says edit has a pencil. That is going to pull up all 25 goals that you have an opportunity to set. So let's talk about this just a minute. In your emails that you received, you should have received a Rotary Citation Goals. And it actually lists all 25 goals on that paper copy you received that will match up to what's on Rotary Club Central. So if you have I would suggest if you have that pulled out, I'm going to talk about the first one, club membership, which is the very first one on the goal. And of course that would fit into the member engagement, but how do I know that? So if you were looking at your paper copy, it actually has a columns, goal, description of the goal. What is it asking you? The category, what category? So this one is in membership engagement. And how is the success is going to be generated? So in this particular case, it's system generated. So I'm going to be talking about system generated and self-reporting. So if you just kind of keep those two things in mind, system generated, that is coming from Rotary International database. Self-reporting is something that you will do. Now, let's talk just a minute about who has access to this. As a officer for President-elect, that is already entered in the system. So you should be able to, as President-elect, should be able to enter your goals. Currently, for the past year, these are the officer levels that have access. So beginning July 1st, your officers that will have access to document anything in Club Runner in Rotary Club Central are president, secretary, treasurer, foundation chair, membership chair, and executive secretary. That is on your PowerPoint presentation on page 20. The district level is district governor, assistant governor, committee chair, and executive chair. Now, there are some clubs and club presidents that would prefer someone else to have access to Rotary Club Central to update the goals center and service activities and such. So if you don't have an executive secretary already, you can make that person, and I call it maybe a citation champion. You can make them the executive secretary, or you could delegate if, say, the foundation chair does not need to go in and look at reports, etc., or the membership chair, then they still can do the same thing, but they could actually delegate someone else to do that. So so that's the way around that. If if there's someone in your club that you want to be able to be in charge to update Rotary Club Central, that they have access to that. So again, there's 25 goals here that you're going to see if I scroll down in a minute. But to achieve your goal for 2020, 2021, you only have to achieve 13 of those. So as we go through and go through 1 or 2 or 3 goals there, just remember the ones that you select as a goal. Then if you select 13 of these goals and you only achieve 12, then you're 1 short of the citation. So just keep that in mind as you're setting goals. You do not have to set all 25. So let's look at club membership. Again, it's where my cursor is, show goal, detail, and history. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to pull up exactly what it's asking. So it's saying when you set goals for club membership, how many total members does your club want to have at the end of the Rotary year? So if you want that as one of your goals, then you have to select it as a goal. So once I clicked on that, that made that box green with a white check mark. And then you have to enter the goal. So I'm going to put 25 in there. And then how do you achieve that goal? So you've set club membership as one of your goals. You've set your numeric goal. That information will come, so it's system generated from Rotary International. It will come from the membership there. The way you can tell when you're loading this in is if it has a box around that area, then you feed the information in. If it does not have a box, then it's going to be system generated. Okay. Another thing is good when you go and you look at your history, it's going to show a comparison on club membership. So we set membership goals 4 out of the 5 years. We didn't set it 2015, 2016. But you can see that the past presidents, the goals they set, what they achieved, that helps on developing your action plan or developing your strategic plan for your club. So a past documentation is very important to the following club presidents, so they know and they have a record of what has been achieved by your club. So I'm going to close this area, and I'm going to go to one that you would have to, so it would be self-reporting. So we're going to look at service participation. Again, your sheet that you've got tells you step by step, but I'm going to click on that, and it says how many members will participate in your club service activities during the Rotary year. Again, it's got your past years goal and achievements to kind of help you with that. If you want to select that, we have a very active club, and so we've got 22 members. So I would say that I would say 20 out of the 22 participate in our club service projects. And so if and when that is achieved, then because it has a box around it, then I can go in there and update that. And that means that I've achieved that one goal. So that's 1 point there. Okay, so I've achieved one goal. The other area, so you can go, I'm going to slowly scroll down, and depending on how you scroll, I've got a little bar on the right side. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm pulling it down to scroll. So another area that is a little different is, I was practicing. So anyway, so strategic plan. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm not sure when we set a strategic plan, if it's updated or whatever, but my president-elect says, well, we need to look at that. And then he found out, well, we need to update the strategic plan. So he's going to set that as a goal. And once you set it as a goal, and once you update that strategic plan, all you do is hit that button, and then you've achieved that. So in this example, I've got two goals, because Rotary International is not going to feed this in until July 1st. So on July 1st or July 2nd, whatever date, they're going to automatically feed in what your members are. So you'll know by looking at that what number of members that they have on their records. So we're going to go. That's all we're going to do on club on the goal center. But one thing, be real mindful that this is not like a Word document or Excel document where it automatically saves. So you have to hit save, and then want to save the entries that you have completed. And then once you hit save, it will tell you the goal is saved. So next thing we're going to look at is service activities. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking my cursor, because I'm in Goal Center. So now I want to change it to service activities. That's your club projects that you do, and you may repeat some of them, or you may have new ones. So we're going to go, and I'm going to move my cursor back over to what I call the control panel, which is the dark navy blue. And it's located on the left side of the screen, and it's you've got Goal Center, Global View, and then that fourth one down is Service Activities, if everybody sees that. So I'm going to click on Service Activities, and that's where I enter my projects. And you've got a choice between entering a new project, that's a new project that your club has never completed, or you want to repeat. So if I'm a new club president and I don't remember all the projects that have been completed last year, I can click on repeat past projects, and it's going to give me a list of the projects that were completed the previous year. So I know that our club wants to do the dictionary. We have third grade elementary school children that we provide dictionaries for. So I click on that, and you may not can see, but it's grayed, just barely grayed. And I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to click on copy project. So what that does for me is saves me a little time. It carries over the project title, the project summary, and it will carry over the categories, and that is at the bottom of the screen, and the partners. The other information would change. So I am moving back up my screen, And the first thing you would do is a project timeline. So when does your project start? It could be a one-day project, start and end the same day, or it may take some preparing, planning, ordering supplies, or whatever. So you click on whatever the start date is, click on the little calendar, and I'm going to say that we're going to start working on the dictionary project July 1st, talking about how many, talking to the principal, finding out how many dictionaries we need, and just working on the project. And then on your end date would be the date that between you and the principal when you're going to deliver. So we're hoping school starts again in the normal time, but we're just going to say that we're going to deliver the dictionaries on September the 24th. That is, but these dates can change. Once I deliver the dictionaries, then I'm going to hit that project complete button there, but I'm going to uncheck it because it's not complete. Now on the project matrix, you're estimating how many projected number of volunteers are going to participate in that project, how many hours. And if you look to the left of those columns, then you'll see what last year's previous numbers are. So that does help as far as projections. Then once the project is completed, you can go back and update the actual achievement there. As far as cash contributions, what did it cost you to put on the service project? So we projected it costing $360, but it cost $380. So again, on this new project, you're gonna indicate the projected and then achieved once that project is complete. You would always want to make sure that the categories remain, and then we selected 3, but to know what my choices are, there's a drop down, and you can also scroll, and then you pick what categories that would be in. Area focus, that is an area focus for Rotary International. And again, you want to make sure that your project fits in the area focus, and you can hit the drop down menu and it will pull up all the area focuses that Rotary International has. Partners, again, you can partner with Interact, Rotaract, other Rotary clubs, the Rotary District. This particular case, we didn't have one, so we just put community as far as the school. So we indicated other there. So anyway, after you complete this, you hit save. The only other, and so I'm going to hit save there. And then I'm going to pull that back up on current projects. So I'm going to pull Nash Elementary back up. So once that project is completed, and you want to share that with Rotary Showcase so that other clubs that might not be doing a dictionary project might get some ideas to share your service project with Rotary International, which will go to Rotary Showcase. There is at the top on the dark green, there is export. You click on export and it says, are you sure you want to export this project? Yes or no. Well, I'm not going to because I don't have that completed yet, but that is how you send your service projects to Rotary International. This particular year, that was a requirement for Rotary Citation to document service projects in Rotary Showcase. So again, that's all we're going to talk. You would do each individual project and just like that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to resources. Again, I'm just taking my cursor and I'm going to the left part of the screen and I'm going to resources. Resources is very, very valuable. I have people ask me all the time, I need to know more information about Rotaract or Interact. So I went to resources and I clicked on Rotaract Interact, and it brought up some information, and it actually went to the RI website. And depending on if I wanted to know more about Interact or Rotaract, I want to learn more about Rotaract. Hopefully everybody sees that screen that says, so I'm going to click on Learn More. And then it's going to pull up a PDF that you can print off. Actually, it's going to pull up the site that you can do a PDF. So right there, that's where the information is, the Rotaract handbook that you can print off, that will go into PDF. You can go down that's where you find the certification form and the email address for Rotaract. So I'm going to go hit the back button, see if I can get back to where I was. I think it's gonna, I think the quickest way for me to go back to, okay. So John, are you seeing Rotary Club Central again?
I'm seeing yes, it's Young Leaders Resources.
Perfect.
Service Resources.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right. So if you'll stay your sound on, so if there's something that you're not seeing, please let me know.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm going to go up and just kind of just highlight some of the things. I'm not going to, because we're running short of time. General resources. If you, we're recording this session tonight. You can always go back and listen to the recording. We'll send that out. But you could go to resources and click on how to set a goal, how to report progress on a goal, how to record service. So it has lots of good information. Also for membership chair and committee, there's lots of membership resources. The Rotary, the health check, member assessment tools, strengthening your membership. Young leaders, that's where we were. That's where we were on the Rotaract Interact. Service resources, Rotary areas of focus, community assessment tools, foundation giving, lots of information about it's got the complete Rotary Foundation reference guide, Rotary Foundation facts and information about Paul Harris Society. Public image, this is where you can go into your brand center. I'm not going to go in there, but just an example, our club did not have a brochure. So I went into Brand Center and they've got pre-filled forms, and it took me about 30 minutes to complete a Brody. So I'm hearing John Jetter or someone talk on the phone. So, and then on Rotary citation, this is really important for the presidents this year and the next year. So if you want to keep up with where you stand on the citation, you go to the Rotary citation dashboard. You're welcome to always call me, but you can go to actually your report. My report that I pull up is every club's report that I send out. Okay, so now I'm going back to the dashboard. I'm sorry, the control panel, and I'm looking, and we're going to quickly talk about reports. So you can get reports in members engagement, Rotary Foundation giving, and service. And these are some of the reports that that Mr. Jetter showed. I'm not going to spend any time with that to pull that up because we're short of time. But you can actually, the tabs at the top, you'll see there's if you want reports that is only dealing with membership engagement, you would click that. if you want reports on Rotary Foundation giving or reports on service. And that's where you can list the club sponsored organizations. If you wanted a list of all of the Interact clubs and Rotaract clubs, that would give you that information. District level, I have access to that as well. So, and contact information, Nick Taylor, y'all may have contacted him. He is our RI representative, and that's what you would click, and it would go, and you would fill in. You could email there, or you could click on the club district support, and then it would pull up. You would fill in your district, and it would pull up his name and his email address. So that is all that I have. I'm going to stop share. And I would ask everybody to do me a favor. We went through this exercise at the beginning. Unmute yourself and open your video up so we see your faces. Wonderful. And so now I'm going to turn it back over to District Governor-elect Jack Welge if we had any questions.
Shirley, we did have a few questions. They all relate to, at this point, accounts for completion of citation requirements. Mary Wormington, for example, said during the shelter in place, 4 Rotary clubs in Texarkana still honored Teachers of the Year in the area. However, they did not have the ability to have a luncheon. Would the lack of a luncheon still allow them to count it as a completed project?
Well, and that particular question, Mary, is that we are still, our 4 Rotary clubs in Texarkana is still going to, let me do this. Can I mute everybody again? Yes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got Jack and John needs to be unmuted, and I was getting a lot of okay, so I'm going to unmute John and Jack. Jack, can you unmute yourself?
Already have.
Okay. So if I understood your question correctly, Mary was asking about a concern for the citation. Now, since we're not having a luncheon, we're still presenting awards and baskets and gifts. So it's just we're having everything except for that that meal. So Mary, does that answer your question? So you would get citation points.
I think Mary's still muted, so she can't really respond right now unless she unmutes.
Okay, let me.
The other question.
I know that we've got at least 2 other Texarkana clubs on, and I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Because that concerns you.
Yeah. There's still activity. We're still honoring those clubs, and it just may not be a luncheon that we actually physically are at, but we are honoring those. There will actually be a article in the Gazette, I think on the 30th, that announces the winners. So anyway, that answers that, I believe.
There was also a question from Holly Lewis indicating that Tyler Rotary is still honoring our Tyler Rotary Young Citizens Club and Teachers of the Year, sending recognition books, certificates, and also article and recognition. She believes that would also still count as a project. I believe that's still in the same vein. And would you agree it would count?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see then. I believe that's all the questions unless anybody has any more.
I might mention something that Mark Maloney, because of the, and Jack, you might, I don't think Jim's on here tonight because of a conflict, but Mark Maloney has reduced the requirements for the 2019-2020. There were 2 categories, and it was required to do 5 out of 9 goals, and he's reduced that to 3 out of 9. So at this point, we've got 10 clubs in our district that has already achieved the award. The emails went out to all the clubs, and so I would encourage each one to go into your Rotary Club Central, because I know that y'all, every club in our district should receive the award this year. And I think it's just a matter of documenting your successes, because y'all do an awesome job. So I encourage each one to do that.
John, do you have anything further?
No, I really don't, but I would suggest that if you're not talking, be sure that you turn your mic off. It's very easy to get background noises into these Zoom meetings. So just a reminder to everybody, some of you all may be on online in this meeting for the first time. So if you're not speaking, be sure to turn your mic off. I know it's hard to do. Every now and then I leave mine open and somebody hears me cracking open a beer or something, and you know.
And that was my fault. I told everybody to unmute, so I apologize.
No, that's all right. We've had a kind of a constant whining or something in the background, and I think we may have some who are participating in the meeting via their phones, and they've not muted the microphone on their phone. So there's some kind of background that's coming through someone's phone. But all in all, I think this went pretty well. It's a little disconcerting to be sharing a screen and not really have your audience visible to you. You don't know how they're reacting to it. I hope nobody fell asleep, but I appreciate you all participating tonight, and I think it's gone well. Jack?
We have one other question, and that was from Linda, and she asks, what about the 4-way speech contest? And without our DG here, I'm going to get out a little on a limb, but my understanding that we are canceling the 4-way speech contest for this year. We'll have further information with regard to how we will handle it next year. And that is based on the fact that our school year, for practical purposes, has ended.
Jack, this
Yes.
is Judy.
Yes.
We sent out several emails about that. And the last one was that we absolutely were going to cancel it. After the Council of Governors meeting, it was suggested that perhaps we could have 2 next year, one in the fall, one in the spring. And the consensus of opinion was that's not a good idea, because if in fact we are opening the schools in the fall, there's way too much going on with athletics and everything else. So we will only have the one next year, and that will be in the spring if we're out of this mess that we're in right now.
God willing. Thank you. Thank you, Judy. Also, I would like to thank the PDGs who signed up for tonight. Judy Guthrie, John Jetter, Ted Huffines, Joanne Parkman, Shirley Griffin, and also on our call were our DGND Carolyn Franks and our DGN Mike Groom. Thank all of y'all for your support, and encourage all of you to join us this coming